So really nice to see everyone this morning. So I wanted to begin today with a theme. I came up with this theme because it is a winter solstice yesterday, December 21st, but the weekend of bringing in more light and longer days. So the theme is winter solstice meditation, and then embracing wise speech. So I sort of are combining two themes together. And before we get started, just because there isn't a lot of time virtually for us to hear from each other, so I wanted to bring in more opportunities to hear your voices. So I would really love if you just wanted to spend a minute really tuning into how you're arriving today. What is your intention for the practice? What made you show up? And if you just wanted to put into the chat a word or two in terms of really, really what's alive for you in this moment. Like, how are you arriving? I would love to just hear a bit from you in the chat in this way, if that's possible. Oh, thanks for sharing some words. Desiring to practice opening the heart, feeling expansive, arriving with gratitude, feeling supported and commitment to the practice, community and connection. Beautiful. Feeling a bit agitated, wanting to connect with others. Yeah. Quiet place during a busy time, indeed. Thank you. Thank you for your sharing. I really appreciate that. So I wanted to actually begin the meditation with a winter solstice dedication that I saw over this weekend, and I thought this would be beautiful to share with all of you on Sunday morning. So this winter solstice dedication is by Taigen Dan Layton. And he writes, on this winter solstice, darkest time of the year, we now resolve not to turn away from the deep darkness of our troubled world and of our lives. We welcome the light, increasing now from this day on. May we all spread this glowing light in our lives. May the Bodhisattva way pervade all human hearts. And may the world begin healing in this awakening light. And so end wars, cruelty, corruption, and the corrosive greed damaging our planet and its beings. May kindness be shared and grow among all beings, and may our sangha be a welcoming beacon to support all who enter to face their lives in our world. And so all find our inner calm and dignity and extend it to all the comforting glow of the awakening way. So just allowing those words to settle with you. And I want to begin today's session just jumping right into the meditation part. So taking some moments to come into a comfortable posture for the meditation. I think it's really important to take a few minutes as needed to find that posture, that position, whether you're seated or lying down. And just noticing the space around you. And in mindfulness meditation, the invitation is really to focus our attention to what's happening now in our body, our feelings, our emotions, and our mind. Zen Master Suzuki Roshi also taught that our practice has to do with no gaining mind. So it's not about getting or becoming. It's really about returning, coming home to our fundamental goodness. And I'll be emphasizing this during the light guidance part of the meditation. So softening your eyes, becoming more still in your posture. Finding that balance between being relaxed and yet upright. And sitting in stillness and noticing what arises throughout the meditation, throughout this sit, without attachment, without judgment, without anything. And as we move into the practice, let's begin with some metta or well wishes for everyone gathering here today, including ourselves. And we can extend these wishes of happiness and good health and ease to everyone here today. And gratitude for arriving. I know I'm feeling very grateful for this opportunity to lead this session, to offer guidance, and coming together to practice in this moment. And as you settle in, calming the mind and body, by finding stillness, just noticing the breath, the natural body breathing, inhaling and exhaling. To help focus with the breathing or on the breathing, just inviting you to try some simple box breathing. What I mean by this is taking an inhale, pause just for a moment, and then exhale, pause for a moment. Inhale, Pause. Exhale. Pause. Trying this box breathing on your own just for the next minute or so, as best as you can. And now letting this go, returning to the natural breath, the body breathing on its own. It needs no guidance. And on this winter solstice day where we're welcoming more light, imagine warmth and the radiance of the sun on your body. Shining on your face and feeling the warmth. Allowing this radiant light to enter and flow through the entire body. You can just envision this light flowing through your entire body from head to toe. This warm, radiant light. Allowing the light to grow brighter with each breath. Allowing the radiant light and kindness, the metta, to flow through you. And all around you, radiating this white light in and out. And now just sitting with the flow of our lives. Just noticing, not judging, attuning to the stillness within. Perhaps sensing some ease in your mind and body. Allowing all of the sensations to come and go. And as you sit in this simple way, you may notice a internal joy arising. Perhaps touching into your fundamental goodness that's always there. Allowing any sense of craving to disappear or to dissipate. This gives rise to contentment. Noticing how the end of harmful thoughts gives rise to love. The ending of ignorance gives rise to understanding that the causes of all suffering are the cravings, the hatreds, and not seeing clearly into the nature of things. And these are moments of freedom and awakening that are accessible to each of us to experience with each in-breath and with each out-breath right now. A taste of freedom, of contentment. As we sit with open heart, with open mind, with awareness. And if you become distracted, you can always come back just noticing your posture, your breath, how it's flowing, your body, your mind, your thoughts. Come back to just noticing. And also welcome any ruminating thoughts, any difficulties that arise from craving or clinging or aversion. You can be curious about this. As an observer. You're observing your thoughts. You're not your thoughts. Just sitting with the flow of our lives. Noticing without judgment. Just noticing any quiet joy inside of you right now. It can be really subtle, really quiet, and yet sustaining. A joy that arises from not striving, from enjoying the simple flow of the breath. in stillness, in community, and in sangha. The Buddha taught to live in joy, in love, even amidst hatred, to live in joy, in health, even amidst affliction, to live in joy and in peace, even amidst troubles. So in this practice, we have a beautiful opportunity to look within, to be still, free from fear and attachments, knowing that joy can be sustaining and strengthening in the midst of all things. And inviting this bell, the ringing of this bell, to close our practice. And thank you for your practice. Taking some moments to find some movement in your body, very slowly. Just coming back to this room, to the space around you, and just noticing what's alive for you in this moment. I just wanted to begin by talking about also the, bringing in a bit of the winter solstice and winter. So winter for me is a very welcome time to slow down, right? To really sit more in silence, to cultivate that non-judgmental awareness. And also just noticing how opportunities to practice show up in my daily life. And this is something that we can also reflect on when we share just how the practice helps in daily life. And, I've been noticing how often my interactions involve speech, and language is powerful. It reveals something. It really co-creates the way we live, the reality we live in. And when you think about it, I found, I was reading about why speech, and this phrase really sparked my interest. It's hard to see what you can't say. And then I'm also tapping into the Eightfold Path, right? So Buddha taught about right or wise speech, and the 4 types of unskillful speech. So I'll just name these. There's lying, the intention to deceive. There's malicious speech, like slander or gossip. There's harsh speech, and this is hostile, unkind to yourself or to others. It's intended to create harm. And then there's this idle chatter. I remember Roshi Joan talking about this, and it could be like just filling your space with noise, like letting the TV run in the background. So it's not necessarily helpful speech. And bringing in the Zen practice, the 4th moral precept is do not tell a lie. Rather, listen and speak from the heart. So it's about listening and speaking truthfully with kindness. And the accompanying vow to that precept is to compassionately and constructively speak the truth as I perceive it, purposefully harming no one. So I find it especially helpful to remind myself of this precept when I'm at work. And also now during the holiday season when spending some more quality time with friends and family. While also being aware and sometimes grappling with the nuances relating to this characteristic or precept, since, it's like speak the truth while also knowing that it might not always be the right time to tell the literal truth without purposefully hurting someone. So this is sort of a little bit of that nuance. I don't want to say paradox because I don't know if that fits, but a nuance about like always telling the truth, and then while also not wanting to purposely harm someone. So then what? So you're left with that question, then what? And what often comes to mind to me as a resource, and I know several of you in this community practice insight dialogue, are the 6 insight dialogue guidelines: the pause, relax, open, attune to emergence, listen deeply, and then speak the truth. I find these guidelines to be incredibly helpful, not only to read about, but to practice. And that is the whole purpose of that insight dialogue practice. So sometimes when I remember, when I'm in a difficult conversation, I'll try to recall these simple words before responding. And really beginning with pause and relax. So pause, slow down, and then relax, breathe. Then this creates a little bit of a little more space to tap into my intuition, sort of that attuning to emergence, to formulate a skillful response versus a reaction. And I can recall many, many times in my life where the reaction was not helpful, and where a more mindful response has always been a better approach. And also, if I remember, and I can quickly go through this in my mind, I will ask myself, if what am I about to say, is it true? Is it useful? Is it timely? And then, is it kind? So, is it kind is really, really key for me, especially if I'm frustrated or annoyed, or feeling judged. I think that feeling of judgment really oftentimes elicits a reaction versus a response. And you might relate to this. So I do then remind myself that living in this way, right? Living in a way that prioritizes kindness and compassion is the bodhisattva way. And this is also very helpful guidance. And also feeling how liberating it is to speak the truth. And just one really short story from my job. I'm often asked to draft these talking points, right, for senior people in my workplace. And these are talking points to address questions that may come in from well, I don't want to give it all away, but like questions that come in, really difficult questions about the work we do, and then we have to respond really like with a justification. And there's often a lot of preparation and practice that goes into these responses or briefings on our work. And ultimately, when I'm finalizing these talking points, I will bring in this guidance, the question, is it true? And I can say it's always the most helpful guide. Like, is it true? So I just wanted to relay that speaking truthfully is really the ultimate, and that's why it's a precept and a vow. But also remembering in kindness and with compassion, and trying to avoid that purposeful, harmful speech. And just, as you're thinking about this, there'll be a reflection period after this short talk, and I'd really love to hear some examples from you. And there's also engaging in hurtful speech, and some strong, some really helpful teachings around this. And I wish to share or read a Q&A, a question and answer response on this question with teacher Zenkei Blanche Hartmen that I found in her book, Seeds for a Boundless Life. So let me just read this Q&A to you. So one of Zenkai's students asks her, "It seems that sometimes I can't tolerate interruptions to my self-absorption. Irritations, big and small, intruding on my desire to settle into the false comfort of ego, can seemingly produce a me that is argumentative, difficult, and short-tempered. I'm guessing that I'm not alone in this. How can we engage emotional provocations and self-centeredness in ways that turn us toward dharma practice and life?" And so the teacher's response: "I would say that you have already taken the most important step toward answering your question, and that is noticing a habitual pattern that causes a painful result. I am guessing that you notice this habit while observing your thoughts in meditation. Until we can see for ourselves that our own actions of body, speech, and mind are creating the pain, we think that someone or something outside ourselves has to change in order to put an end to the pain. When we notice that it is our own thoughts that make us want the world to change, so as to accommodate our own desires or aversions, we then have choice. We can cling to that thought, believe it, feed it, and watch it grow from an irritation to rage, or from attraction to thirsting desire. Or in Zazen, this meditation, we can note the first thing arising of the thought. Remember that it can lead to severe pain, and then decide to let it go by returning our attention to breath, to posture, or physical sensations, all of which are also occurring in this present moment. In other words, we can see that we do have some control over which thoughts we feed and cling to, and then which ones we let go. This is easier said than done," she goes on. "Many of us have some pet thoughts and attitudes, especially about me and the world according to me, and we are very reluctant to let them go. It is useful when we hear ourselves insisting on our point of view to say to ourselves, 'Maybe so.' As her teacher," as she goes on, as her teacher would say to her, "You don't have to invite every thought to sit down and have a cup of tea. In addition to letting go of painful thoughts, it's very beneficial to cultivate positive thoughts. I like this. This is the antidote. In this regard, one teaching I deeply appreciate comes to mind. It is the cultivation of gratitude. This life of ours is a gift. Therefore, we should be as grateful to all beings as we are to our mother in this life. Meditation is the key resource for studying our mind and cultivating more skillful habits of thoughts. Thank you. So now just allowing those words to sort of wash over you. And just noticing what may be arising in yourself as you're thinking about the practice of wise speech. Telling the truth. Responding in a way that's kind. And now also I want to open it up to all of you. Just reflecting on what I said, what I shared, and just how do these teachings resonate with you? Well, how are they informing your speech? So we can pause the recording.